Hi everyone, it's Skye from Skye Brows, and today I'm showing you how to do my signature brow using all Buff Brow products. I started with cleaning the brows with Purify. This removes any oils, makeup or any dirt, and it's a great prep for all treatments. Once I wipe away the Purify, I go in with brow polish. This is an exfoliant, so this is to exfoliate the skin, which is a really important step to get rid of any of the excess oils and just to ensure you're getting the best base for the product you're going to use. During both these steps with the Purify and the polish, I will use the Buff Brows cleansing brush, as it doesn't create any irritation on the skin, which could potentially happen with a spoolie. To remove the brow polish, I go back in again with the Purify, as I do like to double cleanse. If someone's done up with makeup, it's a really good added extra just to make sure that you've got a complete clean base before you pop on any of the treatments. I then move on to mixing up my tints, which I went with a light brown and a dark brown, just to create that medium brown. And we know we wanted to have more of a cooler undertone, but nothing too dark. So once I've mixed up my tint, I let that sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, just to oxidize a little bit longer and to get a color to it. When I apply my tint, I do a messy tint. I don't try to keep to the shape that we are going to aim for. I just chuck it all over and see what fluffy hairs we can pick up. But the areas that the tint is sitting on the skin, we don't need them there, so I will wipe that away just so it doesn't create any potential staining and just to keep it a little bit cleaner. I do go in with the spoolie to brush the hairs, just to create an even layer of the tint and just to ensure all brow hairs are covered. After a couple of minutes has passed, I wipe away the front of the brow. I like to do this because it's more of a natural look. There's not then that deep step of the dark tint, and it gives you a gradualness into the brow itself. As you can see with the brows, it's a little bit heavier at the front and the arch area is a little bit more sparse. So when I go into mapping, which is the mapping string, I find my middle point and then I find my A's, which are at the front of the bulb, and then I find my width. So this is going to be how thick the eyebrow will be. So I go to the bottom layer and then the top. From here, I'm going to find my B point. So this is where the angles are. I get my client to look ahead, I go from her pupil and I dot down where the brow is going to sit on the angle and where the tail should be finishing. So the C points. So we have our A, B's and C's. Here we are doing the height of the arch. So we need to remember that we need to be realistic with how high we can create somebody's arch. And now we're going to create our crosses. So you're finding your point, you're going from the middle of the B to your A, and you can see you're making a little cross in between both the lines. Again, we go from B to C, and you create it on the forehead. So every line should have a cross. This is going to get us the best symmetry possible. I then go in with the brow defining pen. I like to do this pen under the brow because some of the brow is a little bit more sparse in areas, so it's a bit more of a realistic finishing result. And this is a good step that if you need to show your client what we're going to work towards, so we're going to leave this hair because XYZ, this is a good example for them to see in that area between the pen and the brow hair that that's where we're going to get potential regrowth. If you feel like there's too many lines when you are mapping, then do wipe them away if it gets a little bit confusing or you just want to tidy them up. With a tint, it's not necessary. When it's a hybrid, yes, I would say tidy them up. So my lady's eyebrows are a slightly sensitive area, so I'm just going in with the brow shield. This covers so well. It's very thick, but the wax goes through it really well, and I can still get all the hairs off. So this is to help prevent grazing and any irritation for after the wax. So to wax, I start by getting a really good stretch. So my thumb and my index finger are really pulling the skin up. This is crucial for a good wax. So I start a little bit further down, and when I go back in the second time, I just pull it up slightly to my white line. So when I drag the wax down, it's just to create a thin consistency. And the same for the top. Have a really good stretch, go just above your line. When you go back in the second time, you're going to pull it down and pull it across to create that thin consistency again. When it comes to waxing the middle of the eyebrow, you pop all your wax in the middle and then you separate it out. So moving left to right or right to left. This way you have control of where the wax is going to end. Before I remove all my mapping lines, I go in with the hairs that weren't picked up by the wax, just to create more of the clean finish. I then go in with the wax removal. So now we're all clean and tidied up, I will go back in and remove more hairs with the tweezers. After this point, it's always good to step back, give the brows a little brush before you get a bit tweezer happy, and just remind yourself of what you're working towards. My lady liked to have the front of her brows still a little bit fluffy, so we didn't trim too much away. Before applying makeup, I'd always show my client how their eyebrows look and what we want to work towards. So I apply the makeup purposely so they could see what the end result could be in a few months' time to a year's time when we have that regrowth. Always in this situation, less is more. Let's keep it realistic. As my lady can have sensitive skin, I will finish her eyebrow treatment with camo. This is to help with any redness or any irritation from having the wax. And here we have a finished, realistic signature brow. Thank you for watching.